saying that Steph Curry is not a future Hall of Famer. Well, Magic Johnson took to Twitter yesterday to chime in, as he typically does. Magic tweeting, "Everyone relax. We know Steph Curry is a future Hall of Famer. Michael Jordan couldn't say it because he would get fined by the league." Rich.
Magic.
Rich. Nick, you buying the Magic take?
I'm sorry to laugh. I hadn't seen that tweet. Magic still don't understand how the tampering stuff works. Magic thinks that was going to get Michael fined. He still talked about it. Magic is still confused. See, get your man. See, you've known this guy for what? 40 years?
Yeah, but I'm more talking about Michael Jordan.
Okay,
the reason why Michael selected the team like that was they were all his teammates. James Worthy was his teammate. They won a national championship. All right, Scottie Pippen was his teammate. Right? That's why he had those guys on the team. And Steph's not a Hall of Famer yet. Like, as much as he's accomplished, he's not that. So,
can I tell you the other reason Michael selected the team like that?
What?
Michael's just a bit of a hater on the younger generation. Just a bit, not a ton, a little bit, a little salty.
I've had conversations with Michael about the younger generation. He's not, Nick. He's really not.
Well, publicly, I haven't had conversations with Michael, so I don't know what he talks about privately. I'm just talking about outward appearances, publicly. When he's sitting down,
I mean, he
having a drink.
He doesn't hate them, but.
No, go ahead.
No, it's all right.
No,
it's all right.
No, I don't
it's all right. It's never going to end.
But I mean,
thank goodness, otherwise we wouldn't have a show.
Look what the younger generation being you, what y'all, I mean.
Stories to start your morning brought to you by the unexpected energy of ExxonMobil. Game 1 of the World Series. Underdog Nationals and overdog Astros took to the field. Nats outfielder Juan Soto had a night. 3 hits, 3 RBI, including a home run. Washington takes Game 1, 5-4. Game 2 tonight, 7:30 on Fox. Nick, did the Nats win surprise you?
Well, it had to surprise everyone in this regard.
Listen,
I understand how excellent the Nationals have been. They're now 17-2 in their best 19. That is their best 19-game stretch over any period of time since they moved from Montreal to Washington. However, Garrett Cole had not lost a game in 5 months. The longest stretch in the live ball era. So yeah, when Garrett Cole's on the mound this year, it's shocking that he loses. And credit to Juan Soto and the Nationals for continuing their red-hot streak.
I know their pitching coach, Jenna, had confidence. He said Juan Soto would hit a home run. He told our Tom Verducci before the game, who covers the game, Tom does a great job there, that he would go yard because of the fastballs, and they're such a good fastball hitting team. So they were well rested. They knew they had one of their horses on the mound. They had a lot of confidence. Their guys got 3 Cy Youngs, even though the Astros have the hottest pitcher in baseball.
Yep.
But man, the Nationals got reason to have confidence last night, and their bats came through for them.
Yep, big win for them. All right, on to the NBA. Opening night, Clippers hosting the Lakers. And Kawhi Leonard made the kind of debut you usually pin up on your vision board. The Claw finished with a game-high 30 points to go along with 6 rebounds.
I thought they only had stuff from like sacks on them vision boards, and houses and furniture.
5 assists. No, Kawhi had his line up there.
Oh, okay.
Clippers win 112-102. You guys have vision boards. CC, how did Kawhi look?
He looked real good. He looked real good. Got off to a slow start, missed a couple shots, had a couple turnovers early, and then in the second quarter, he made, I think, 7 straight shots in a row from a variety of different positions. I mean, I love Kawhi. I'm very, very close to Kawhi and everything, and the people that manage him compared to Kawhi himself. I just can't believe he's still underrated the way he is. I mean, he has a beautiful basketball game the way he plays.
You remember the knock on Jason Tatum last year was that he had, after spending time with Kobe, he was trying to take Kobe shots and he couldn't make them. Kawhi last night was taking a bunch of shots we've seen in Staples Center over the years. Contested, difficult twos, Kobe shots, and was nailing them. To be 10 of 19, which is good, not great efficiency, but it is great given the degree of difficulty on those shots and given the fact his 3-ball wasn't falling. He was sensational. On a court with 3 guys who either have won or will one day win league MVP, he was the best player.
All right, the other game of the night, Pelicans, Raptors. No Zion, no Kawhi, no reason to whine. They still played. Toronto got their championship rings and then took down the Pellies 130-122 in overtime, thanks to Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, who each scored 34 points. Nick, can the Raptors compete again this season?
Quickly on the championship rings, those are the most outrageous rings I've ever seen in any sport. They were bigger than any Super Bowl ring I've ever seen. They were unreal. Can they compete again this year? Not for a championship. Can they compete for a top 4 seed in the East? Sure. We saw last year how well, what are they, 17-5? When in the 22 games Kawhi sat.
Right.
Siakam is turning himself into a star in this league. Still have an excellent coach, still have great depth, but no, they can't get back to the NBA Finals. I don't even think the Eastern Conference Finals, but they're not going to all of a sudden fall off a cliff a la the Cavs when LeBron left. No, they'll still be a very good team.
And Van Fleet's not going to go for 34.
No.
Siakam is going to be a problem for people this year. I look forward to seeing where his offensive game grows, but no championship aspirations in Toronto. They have their once-in-a-lifetime championship, but they have whatever every other team is looking for, Jenna, and it will carry them through the first 3 quarters of the season, and that's team chemistry. And that's what got them through this game, how they were able to come back on the Pelicans and be able to tie it up late and be able to win it in overtime.
All right, let's move on to the NFL. A year ago, the Cowboys made a blockbuster trade. Pro Bowl wideout Amari Cooper for a first-round pick. Well, at the time, there was some question as to whether they gave up too much for Cooper. But Cooper has more than earned his worth on this team, and Jerry Jones knows it, which is why he doesn't think the team needs to make another big move this season. See, you agree with Jerry? Do the Cowboys have enough to go the distance as currently constructed, obviously, if they all stay healthy?
Well, they don't have the flexibility to even try to maneuver to get another player. They've been positioning themselves for a run right now. You're right. A year ago, they made the trade to be able to make them have a run to last year, and that's why they had high expectations on this season. But to them, it's about health and their players that they have, and they have a bunch of young players playing to the level that they're capable of playing. DeMarcus Lawrence playing to the level you played at last week. Now, I know you're coming off-season shoulder surgery, but they're paying you a lot of money. You're making more money than Ezekiel Elliott. A hell of a lot more than Dak Prescott.
Yeah, about 20 times.
And you ain't even getting no type of criticism. So typically, when teams aren't playing well, we miss it a lot as far as not criticizing the players. The film would say Dallas has a lot of good players that are not playing up to their capabilities. That's, to me, if they reach their potential or get back to where they were last year, I believe that this Dallas Cowboys is talented enough to challenge anyone we have in the league.
We know Dak at some point, we don't know what that point is, going to get a new deal, right? They, in theory, also would like to bring back Byron Jones. They've already re-signed Lyle Collins. Zeke, you mentioned DeMarcus Lawrence. The Cowboys now, they're done with the flashy big of trades or offseason acquisitions. Now they're going to have to supplement their roster through what you would trade away, your draft picks. They need cheap, young labor, essentially, because they're going to be such a top-heavy roster. So this is the right messaging point, and it's the right, it's accurate information. There is no great trade for the Cowboys for them to make, because unlike a team like New Orleans this year or the Patriots, where you've got a quarterback whose time horizon is coming soon to a close, they want to be able to compete not only this year, but over the life of whatever contract Dak gets, over the life of whatever contract Zeke gets. Now, are they good enough? I said on Monday, and I'll say it again, I think the Cowboys win fully healthy. When their frontline guys are all out there or almost all out there, they can compete with anybody. Their problem has been lack of depth and lack of ability to, when one of those key ingredients is out, to still operate at even close to the level they need to. We saw them, with a couple guys out, lose to the Jets. We then saw what the Jets looked like, same team, a week later against the Patriots. That's concerning for Dallas. They can go that hot, that cold, depending on whether their tackles are out there or not, as you saw them against the Jets versus against the Eagles.
And it's not just that the team struggles when one of them is out. We see that Dak also struggles when his wide receiver is out, when his running back is out, when his left tackle is out. And there are certain things he needs for him to seemingly play at an optimum level. I think that is something that's concerning. Is there a unit on this Dallas Cowboys team that you see as a weakness, where if they had the ability, they could bolster?
Well, their tight ends. Their tight ends are the weakest unit. They don't have any speed at tight end, and they become very, very predictable as far as what the skill level. Their second weakest position happens to be where they have the most resources. That's the offensive line. The wide receiving core has improved a great deal, but they haven't been consistent. Michael Gallup, after a first good game, good start in week, gets injured in week number 2. He's been inconsistent. Cobb's been injured. They've been pushed where Tavon Austin has to play more snaps. That last play, they were going for a 2-point conversion against the Jets. You got Witten, Tavon Austin, Ezekiel Elliott. Those were the main receivers in a tripod. To the right, in the slot, and Ezekiel Elliott to the left in the slot. slot. Like, that's not a lot of firepower. So the offensive line, they spent a lot of money on. They haven't played to their potential. And when you have 2 tackles out, it's going to affect your quarterback. Tom Brady missing offensive linemen. It's affected him. Any quarterback, the number one way to affect him is that offensive line not be able to block. So this is not just a Dak issue. This is around the league. Kirk Cousins, when did he have problems? When that offensive line wouldn't protect for him. So I would say this offensive line, it's really key because they affect Dak more than anything else. We see Amari Cooper, he's healthy. Zeke had his best game last week.
Right.
They should be ready to take that next step as an offense.
All right, let's move on to the AFC. The New England Patriots. Sure, Tom Brady's team is undefeated, and yeah, if he struggles, he can rely on that top-ranked defense, but New England is never satisfied. Yesterday, they traded a second-round pick to the Falcons for wide receiver Mohamed Sanu, and both Brady and Sanu are already meshing, with Sanu tweeting Brady's patented LFG, and Brady responding with "see you soon," to which Sanu commented, "on my way." It's a 3-word minimum, apparently, on Twitter between these two. See, how badly did Brady and the Patriots need this trade?
They needed someone. And I think that once you get the specifics of the personality and the character of the player, Tom should be excited. But this is what Tom does. Tom is the ultimate company man. Not only as far as the salaries that he's allowed them to be able to function, Tom says all the right stuff. Last 2 weeks, hey, what about Gronk? Man, I don't participate in those decisions. Would you like to see Gronk? Have you talked to Gronk? Tom stays in his lane. The reason why is because he doesn't want to have a conflict between his